Hello, everybody.
Hey, Brooke.
Hello, Chris.
Yeah, what's up?
Nothing. I'm just trying to contain my energy right now.
Yeah, you're
It is
Jack.
you might even see my phone shaking at some points because I just can't stop what's been coming in for weeks now.
Yeah,
And I think most people watching, I think people at every frequency right now are feeling this to some extent
yeah,
and have been for at least 3 weeks now.
at least, yes.
At least 3 weeks
Mhm.
that we've been feeling this.
Yep.
Major. I think, we've been talking about the energies and all this for so long, but man, this one is something. This one is something. So, when we were first setting this up, I think I was just simply going with, tips for dealing with these energies and, us becoming more aware. And those of us, no matter what stage of awareness we're at, we're all a little more aware at this point. So I'm sure that people watching right now are like, yeah, I've been filled with some information, for the last couple of weeks. Um, I guess luckily it's the information I'm getting is nothing new. I'm feeling it on different levels, but it's not new information. It's just more intense about the information that we've always had.
Yeah.
And
Well, and if I could say real quick, that's what we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen out there. We a lot of energy has been coming into the realm lately, affecting a lot of people in a lot of different ways, and that's what we're kind of discussing today.
yes. Yeah, because Chris, we talked before, he is supposed to be keeping me on track because I know that at any given time I'm gonna fly off the hook. So he is here to bring me back. And and he is also, I've told him to question me, if I'm going off on a tangent that he thinks that somebody listening, even if he is getting what I'm saying, even if he thinks that somebody's listening and may be wanting to question what I'm saying, he is free to stop me and do that. Because I'm kind of, well, we all are. That's what we're dealing in is a duality, that it's exactly what we're dealing with. And, you know, our job is bringing that duality together in the middle is what's happening right now. But there's not one single thought or idea that I've been having that I can't just bring all the way around to the other side, but I also know how to find the balance. And so that's going to be key right now is balance, balance, balance. That is the key right now. So if anything I say after what I'm getting ready to say, you guys can take it or leave it. If you're feeling it, great. If you're not, if you have questions, drop them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them. But the one thing I'm going to say that I do, the most important thing right now, and Mike from our last podcast, he said it and he nailed it. The only one thing you need to know right now that is most important is to stay as open as possible.
Mhm.
Just stay as open as possible and as empty as possible. And that's where the other things I'm going to follow up on will come in is the staying empty part and kind of what we have to do that. So some of us at this point have done a decent job, because the theme of the last 2 or more years, the biggest, hardest theme has been shadow work. We there's nothing I'm going to say that we don't have a previous podcast on. And I feel like they, looking back, they came in order of when we were getting the information.
Well,
We can go back to the first one, authentic you, because that's going to be a big thing now too. Go ahead, Chris.
yeah. No, I was just going to say shadow work, for those of you that don't know, is basically just going in and healing those unhealed aspects of yourself, whatever
Yes.
that is.
Yes. And, I'm never going to say, well, it's too late now.
Never.
Never. But there is going to be something different about now, depending on how much shadow work you have done. So that's going to be the difference right now, is depending on how much work you've done up until now is how things are going to look moving forward. So the emptier we've gotten ourselves, things are going to go a little bit smoother, than the people who have not yet begun to dive into themselves. Okay, so like I said, if nothing else, if you take nothing else away from this, just stay as open as possible to everything. And empty yourself as much as possible. That's all. Anything I see from here on after, take it, leave it. I hope you get something from it. So here we go. Chris, anything you want to say before I end up going? I don't even know what I'm getting ready to say. I just know it's going to be a tangent. So is there anything you want to say before I get rolling?
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm eager to hear what you have.
Okay, so we talk about the empty part, we talk about the emptying part. Yeah, we're talking about if you've done, if you've been somebody who's been delving into yourself, then, you've definitely started this process. And I think we all have at some level, we definitely all have, absolutely. So triggers are one of the biggest things that has been coming to me lately. Your triggers are your teachers. And you're going to hear me, if you're on any spiritual sites, you're going to hear me, like, all the memes that are out right now, they're going along with all of this. Triggers are your biggest teachers. So we've been playing this fun game, or I play it with myself all the time. And I've been doing it at work. So somebody comes to me to vent at work. My new thing is, why does that bother you? Like somebody comes in as like, a coworker said this to me and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, why does that bother you? Well, because this. Why? Well, because this. Why? And it will always go back to you. It will always go back to you. The other person, don't shoot the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger. The person that triggered you is not the problem. The problem is what you have to find on why that triggered you. I had all of these, like, for examples. I like using myself more than I like putting somebody else out there. But one coworker, for instance, I'm hoping one will come about me, because like I said, I'd rather put my stuff out there than somebody else's stuff. So one coworker, it was another coworker in her class got like complimented, and and she's somebody who works very, very hard, like to do things right and like to kind of be noticed and, need a little pat on the back. And that's okay, man. We all need a little pat on the back sometimes. But like I always say, that person might not be there. So sometimes it has to be us to give ourselves the pat on the back. But anyway, so she, this other one got complimented. And then she's like, later on, she sends me a picture of like him on his phone, like at work. And I'm like, so why does this bother you? And she's like, well, I'm doing this. And I'm like, yeah, but he didn't do anything wrong. Like this, this is what triggered you. But like, why did it trigger you? And she's like, well, because I do this and I do that. I'm like, okay, why do you do all that? Well, because, I guess, I'm trying to show my worth. I'm like, okay, why are you trying to show your worth? Well, because, okay, she wants to feel worthy. We bring it all the way back to, she wants to be validated. She wants to feel worthy. So see, it's always going to come back to us. So follow your triggers right now. Take it all the way back and keep asking the why, until you get to the root of what is in yourself that triggered that. So that is something that's going to help you be more empty. I guess I'm going to backpedal so much because I'm going to get ahead of myself and I'm going to backpedal. Why am I saying all of this? And what are these energies doing? So let's just go back to the basics. And I think at this point, most of us know everything is energy. Everything is energy. So, so when these frequencies are coming in, something that came to me a couple of weeks ago, you always wonder, why is somebody else, we're having like that bad day, that moody day, or the day that we're processing stuff, and somebody else could be having like the best day of their life. Well, thank goodness we're like that, because we need somebody else to be the sunshine in the rainy days.
Yeah, the balance.
But they kind of clarified for me what is going on at those times. And it is because we are energy, everything is energy, but everything is at different frequencies.
Mm-hmm.
And so an energy coming in at one time might be hitting more of this person's frequency. And so it's working on them. Meanwhile, thank goodness we have somebody else who's more stable at the time to hold the light and be there for that other person going to that frequency. And then, 2 weeks later, when you were like, oh, I don't know why that person was like that. And then bam, whoop, it's your turn now, so it's a different energy hitting the frequency that you're at. And I'm not talking about somebody's frequencies above or below somebody else's. It's just at different frequencies. And so now it's your turn. And good thing that person who it was their turn 2 weeks ago, they're doing a little better now. To be able to hold the light for you while you go into the density for a little bit. So what is happening right now? This energy that just came in a couple weeks ago, and like I said, they've been coming in. It's been coming in for years, little dabs at a time. And then we've noticed, about a year ago, it getting a little closer together. Okay, now we're on a roll. Now this is not going to stop. This is going to keep, we've talked about being pressure cooked before. This is it. It is on. It is baking time. Like, pressure is on. This is not going to stop. It's going to keep rolling.
And this is just more energy coming in, more light coming into the realm, Earth.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so the reason we want to be empty is because the more density, and we can't get away from it. We are in a dense realm. We are in a realm that has density. So it's going to keep coming. So the biggest thing I think that's going to help us all right now to understand, and I feel like when you're aware of what's going on, it makes it a little bit easier for you to deal with what's going on when you kind of know why, you're feeling a certain way. So what's happening is there's a lot going on with the sun, a lot of action. Like, I'll see things somewhere. Actually, I feel first. I feel something, and then I start seeing information that correlates with what I've been feeling. And I won't just take somebody's word for it. So if somebody's saying, oh, the sun's doing this right now, I will go to like NASA's site. I will go to, okay, what is going on? You know what I mean? And find out, okay, this is actually going on. This is what's happening. So with all of the light coming in right now, and light is just information. Light is information. And it's here to break up the density. So of course we all hold density. Everyone here holds density. I don't care if you're a star seed, a light worker, we all hold density. This whole planet has density. So, but it's being broken up. It is being broken up big time. There's a lot leaving this planet. And so that, I think, this 3-4 weeks ago, that was probably one of the most powerful that came in of breaking this up. Right now, we are conduits. So what's happening is this light is coming into us. And depending on how much, work we've done on ourselves, is whether it's going to be able to go through us and then, go into the earth and into other things for its density, or if it's going to actually be working more on us because we still have too much density in us to be cleared out. And that's where a lot of us right now are experiencing some like aches and pains. I don't even, and these aren't bad things. It's not a bad thing to be feeling these things. If you're feeling nauseous, it's not a bad thing that you're feeling that way. You're just feeling energy. And
yeah, it's going to manifest itself many different ways for different people. Some people might feel emotional. Some people might feel angry. Some might feel tired, not sleeping, whatever.
Yes. And I think I've felt all of that.
Exactly.
We felt all of that. And so, you bring up emotion, energy in motion. Mm-hmm. Okay. So so another big key to what's going on right now is everything that you are feeling. Oh, shucks. Where am I? Okay, here I am. Hello. Everything that you are feeling is made to be released right now. Like, you're feeling it to release it. You're not feeling it to hold on to it. you're feeling it to release it. So Chris and you've talked about like the elevator before, how
A
how
light
it
body.
goes down. Yes. So the light is coming into us. We are taking the elevator down. We are collecting density and we are bringing that back up and feeding it back to the light. That is the long story short on how simple this is, what is happening right now. Light coming down, going down to get some density, picking it back up, putting it back up to the light. It's really that simple. But there's so much that's going on with that, with our emotions and what we're experiencing.
Yeah.
So emotion, energy, and motion. So when you're feeling these emotions, look into your breath work, look into move. Even moving, dancing, singing, breathing, move it. We have to move this energy out. Like, this is like calling all warriors right now. We are here to move this energy out. So whatever you are feeling, there are going to be things that are coming up for us to face, but it's for us to face and let go. It's not for us to hold on to. We want to keep this energy moving. So whoever to move it, shake it, sing it, breathe it, dance it, whatever you have to do.
Yeah. So obviously be aware of what you're feeling. Know that it could be a result of all the new energy coming into the realm and light and love, and it is for a higher and greater good. An acknowledgement of that is helpful. And then once you do, moving it and seeing how it's moving in you, through the emotions or whatever way, like, through, tired, crying, or frustration, anger, sadness, tired, not sleeping, whatever. Then move it, which, totally.
So on the flip side of that, guess what? There's gonna be moments where you don't want to move, where you don't want to shake, where you don't want to sing, where you could care less about doing that breath work. That is okay too. So if you are feeling like, I just want to be on the couch and I can't move, that is also okay. And don't feel like you are not doing anything, because you are also doing something then. And when you're just laying there on the couch, picture the world being surrounded by light. Picture the light in you. Picture you holding the light. It's okay if you can't move. It's okay if you can't shake, if you can't sing, if all you can do is lay. But at least at those times, keep your mind in a place to where you want to keep thinking of the light, so, because there's going to be some hard moments with this too. I honestly, I'm around a lot of people. I can't think of anybody who is not going through something right now, whether it's on the inside or whether it's to the point that it's manifested in the physical.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of the next thing I was going to get to, is anything that we haven't done in the emotional field and in there is now going to be more present in the physical. I said on a podcast a long time ago, and I said, I will always backpedal and I will always correct myself. And I was talking about fear. And I was saying, I was like, I'm not talking about like, oh, I saw a spider, oh, I saw a snake. I'm talking about like those other bigger fears. Well, guess what? They corrected me on that. Yes, it is, even when you see a spider, it's even when you see a snake. So when I say things are going to start manifesting themselves in the physical, it can be this silly. Like it could be this silly that it can be a spider. And if there is something that you have yet to have released in yourself in fear, it could be that spider's job right now. So, I had that experience in my car the other day where it's a spider, and I have another friend who this is being done to her with spiders, and it came to me that even when you conquer that fear that's now being put to you in the physical, because sometimes we don't know, even when we're going in for the shadow work, even when we're following those triggers back, we still have stuff in us that we may not be able to pinpoint, because it may have come from another lifetime. It may have come from something else that is not even in our awareness what it is that we're afraid of. So now we're going to manifest in the physical, with, maybe something, happening that you see that would be a fear. So when you conquer that you're seeing in the physical, so say you conquer that spider, that is your biggest fear, and you learn to conquer that spider, you didn't just conquer that spider, you have conquered way more inside of you. So that is a big thing right now, that if you're not seeing it yet, you're going to see over these next couple of weeks. I've seen it already, that these things are starting to manifest themselves in the physical, because if we can't find it inside of ourselves, it's going to be shown to us out here for us to conquer. So there is nothing too small right now for you to conquer. Every little step you make, every little fear you conquer, every is actually bigger than you think it is. Okay, let's see.
Yeah, because the depth of healing is unknown at some instances.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
totally.
So that's why I said we may not be able to find it. So it's going to be presented in the physical.
Yes. And don't get caught up like if you don't know. You know, sometimes you're not meant to know, but when you are meant to know, you will find out, and you have to trust that. Because I do know a lot of people that are trying to heal right now, and they're like, but I don't even know what I'm healing from. I just feel this emotional trauma or pain within me. And I'm like, and they are confused as to why they're feeling it. But that's okay to not know. We have to
Yep.
find patience in that, because the healing isn't isn't something that, like Brooke has just pointed out, isn't something that may be necessarily from this lifetime, or might be something, the depth is might be way larger than what we currently think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So like I said, I don't know. So yes, moving forward in this energy, and it's not going to stop. It's like before, like when I look back to where this journey started and have going, oh, but okay, this is not going to stop until, like, we're on the roll right now. It's not stopping until it's done. But the cool thing is, but have hope, because the cool thing is like right now, you are going to see the dualities even in the physical. You're going to start seeing things that you're going to find very amazing and beautiful that are going to be happening. But at the same time, there's also going to be other things that are not going to be so pretty manifesting in the physical. And your job is going to be to, as best as you can, be the eagle,
Hmm.
fly above the storm. And that, Chris and I say that like it's no big deal. That's not, everybody can't do that. It's not an easy thing to do. It's because it's getting to that place to where you're able to do that, and it's hard. But like, yeah, the ultimate goal is to be able to fly above the storm and observe. But I can tell you just from my life, like when I got to that point, oh, and yeah, I had a good analogy for this one. It's like a lot of us act like we've just always been awake. A lot of us act like we've just always known all this, and we've just always been this, and we haven't. It's like I can look back to who I was 2 months ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. We haven't. So don't be, okay, you look at the kid, Luke Skywalker, look at the kid who literally questioned Yoda to death, right? Then look at him now when Rey comes to him and she needs answers. He's like, I don't have time for this.
Hmm.
you know,
Hmm.
don't be that Luke. You know what I mean? But obviously, if you watch the movies, you know that Luke grounds himself. So that's another thing that's been big for me lately. Luke grounds himself and does come back to knowing what he has to do to help Rey. But at first, like I said, the kid that questioned Yoda to death, wanting answers, to the guy that's gonna, when Rey comes to him at first, but then he grounds himself and then he comes back to, okay, now I have to do what I have to do. So another thing I was going to talk about is grounding, because that's something that my guides kept telling me, whether it was through me, whether it was through Chris for me, ground. I'm like, oh, I am. I'm grounding. I'm grounding. I'm okay. I'm out in the yard. I'm laying on the grass. I'm grounding. It's not what we're talking about. That is good too. That is excellent too. Yes, to ground in that way, to go outside and have the bare feet and get that energy and go in and help. That's not what they're talking about right now. The grounding is some of us are flying a little too high right now. When we start waking up and we start becoming aware, we're like, I know something y'all don't know. We start getting we start flying too high. We're not helping anybody when we're doing that, and so like grounding for me is, somebody tells me, oh, I lost my grandfather this weekend. And I'm like, oh, great, yay, he's finally there. Woo. No,
Mhm.
even though I have that truth and I have to ground is to come back down to earth and say, you know, I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm sure this is very hard for you right now. So, see, some of us, the more spiritual we get, we actually get to flying a little too high and we forget that, we start thinking that our job is up here. Our job is here. Like our job is here. And I'm one to blame for saying, like, I'm ready to go home. I don't belong here. I want out of here. Get me out of here. Nope. This is my home. This is my choice. This is where I need to be. And I need to bring myself back down to be able, because that flying high is causing separation. When we get to thinking, we start comparing other people's awareness to ours. We start comparing other people's level of spirituality to ours. We get to comparing all that stuff. You're causing separation. That's all you're doing. So if you find yourself flying too high, get your ass back down here and get doing your job, because our job is with every other being on this planet. That is our job. Our job is here. Our job is not to come here and think we're flying high and think we're flying back home. This is home and this is what we have to fix. Everything that is here, the density, we created this from the beginning of time. We made this. I looked back to my writings and I didn't understand at the time. Fire and trash we made, what fire and ash, trash we made must go away. This is what's happening right now. From the beginning of time, we created this density. We created all of this. We're cleaning that up right now. We're the cleaning crew. We're here to clean that. We're not here to come make more of a mess and make everybody feel bad because they're not where they spiritually should be. And then we're going to fly away on rocket ships. We are here to clean this up. That's what we're doing. So grounding is so important right now. When you find yourself comparing your beliefs to others, when you find yourself comparing levels to others, when you stop it and bring yourself back down and bring yourself together with other people, because we're causing a lot of separation right now. And that's another thing. So other than looking in ourselves, look at where are you causing separation from your other brothers and sisters that are here, because we're doing a little too good of job with separation right now. We can, whether it is religious beliefs, whether it is political beliefs, whether it is, color of skin, whether it is, down to silly stuff. We are finding every way we possibly can to divide ourselves from other people. If you find that, if you're like, oh, this conversation is dividing me from them, change it. Oh, what do we have in common? Find what you have in common. Find your common ground with people. Don't keep looking for the reasons that, you have differences and divisions. Come together. This is the time. It is now. We have to come together. All right.
That's a
You
good
want to
point.
stop me?
Oh yeah, well, yeah, it's a good point. I'll tell you, I'll share with you guys. Am dealing with a situation where I thought I had a friend, and I found out that that friend was mm, relaying information. I was obviously, you know, I don't. I struggle with some energy. There are people that carry an energy that is a little difficult for me to handle much. And I shared with somebody that I probably don't want to be around that individual anymore. Well, the person that I shared it with told that person. And then they both conspired to come back and try to, like, I want to say hurt, but they wanted to make me mad. So and put me in a situation where I could not escape me being around this individual. And I realized that just yesterday. Um and I'm still struggling with it now. But what I realized, now I could have been very angry at that moment, and this goes back to Brooke grounding. What she was saying about the grounding and how important that is. And what I really tried to do with all because all these waves are coming in so quickly, and it's really tough to get hit with one wave, and the moment you think you're coming up for air and you're getting a break, another one comes in and hits you again, and you just feel like you're drowning sometimes. But you're not. I mean, you are in the sense that the healings are happening quickly, but if you can find what the lesson is intended to for you to learn, you will begin to actually find a greater peace or even joy from these situations. So, and the situation that I'm telling you right now, so that happened yesterday where I found all of this out and they're trying to put me into a situation that I can't escape. Well, they both uh came to me yesterday and were telling me about, hey, this situation's going to happen, and guess what? You can't get out of it. And and I could have responded with a lot of anger and frustration because I immediately knew, oh, you've told her this, you told this individual this. But what I realized at that very moment was I was being presented with an opportunity of one, like speaking my truth, in my throat chakra, and two, learning the lesson that I'm meant to learn in there, in that obviously I got to watch who I talk to and the information that I relay, but also to not speak negatively about, even if I don't agree with someone's energy or I don't want to be to watch how I phrase that stuff, and that was the lesson that I needed to learn. And so is that making sense? I apologize.
Yeah. No, it is. I have like so many thoughts like coming in to go along with it. And I'm like, I should be like jotting this down because it's like there's a few times I've had things come into because I mean, I guess just me as a woman and as a talker, um, the first thing that hit me was just, our being our authentic self and like speaking your truth. Um, I don't want to go there yet. Um, but yeah, like the lessons in this for us. So me being a talker, I will catch myself so many times where like, it's when you say something and then you almost go to bed that night going, oh my gosh, if this person hears this or finds this out, like, and then even even if that person didn't get told, the lesson that already went through my head on that is already like in motion.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, that person does get told. Okay, now it's time for me to face the music.
Mm.
Now it's time for me to, something is being cleaned up right now. So now it's time for me to face the music that I created, or now it's time for me to look more in myself.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So, and then I'm like, okay, well, I don't believe in coincidences. So if that came out of my mouth, I created the situation for me to learn something from.
Yeah, exactly.
So sometimes we create these what seems like negative situations, or a situation will seem negative, but by the time it comes full circle and it plays itself out, you will find the lesson in it and you will be even more clear from a situation.
Yeah. And in all honesty, I didn't say anything bad other than I'm not a fan of that energy and I don't want to be around it. But nonetheless, that was still given to that person, and then they tried to use it against me. My point in telling you that is that, Brooke was saying earlier that we're not perfect and we don't always do the things that we should do. But and we have to honor this human form and all of its flaws that we have, but the whole point is to acknowledge those flaws and try to do better the next time. I mean, that is all we can do. There's nothing more to this. You simply try to do the best the next time that situation comes around. Like, so in this situation, I wouldn't talk about another person, and actually I already know how I'm going to handle the situation again, and that is I'm just going to be loving to all. I'm not even going to address the
Right.
energies that I don't be around. Hey, I love that person. and whatever
Right.
happens shall happen.
And I can think of a similar that even like a couple weeks ago, and luckily this person's never been told, and I'm glad they've never been told because I wouldn't want them to think that. I wouldn't want them to, but it's like a distant relative of mine. Um and there's just always been something about this person that, like, I can't be close to, or I can't, and there's something that off puts me about this, and I actually said it out loud. And then the more I thought about it was, so a lot of times your vibe attracts your tribe,
Totally.
right? And so this is why when you go out and just be authentically you, in the same way that I say I don't resonate with this person's energy and like I don't really talk to her that much, or I feel the way I feel about her. Guess what? There's people that feel that way about me too. That they don't vibe with my energy.
Absolutely.
So our human form takes it as I like this person or I don't like this person.
Yep.
All your energy is saying, your energy is just letting you know who's in your path and who's not.
Hmm.
It's that simple. It's
Yeah.
not whether we like them or dislike them. If you just follow your energy is simply going skirt, like that person, like that's not in your path. So
Yeah.
it's going to push you away. It doesn't mean you don't like the person. It doesn't even mean they have necessarily bad energy. It just means that that energy is not for you in the path you're going right now.
Yeah.
But we misinterpret it as, oh, we don't like them or we don't this. And it's not that. It's just simply that that person is not for you at this time
Yep.
and may never be,
Yep.
because our vibe attracts our tribe. If we follow our energy, it's going to put us with the people that belong in our path, you know? So it's really that simple. But we as humans put a whole lot more onto that. We're like, oh, it must be because I don't like them because they do this or they do that. When really it's as simple as that person is just not supposed to be on your path right now and your energy is pushing you away from them.
Yeah. And that's exactly right. And the situation that I presented, there are a few things that I did maybe I shouldn't have done, where I was speaking about another's energy and that I don't want to be around it. But a couple things that I did do well, I feel. And I tell you guys this only as a way of helping because, we all feel this energy and its intensity. And I mean, I haven't been sleeping well in a long time now. And so what I try to do though are a few tips that I will try to give you is I do try to watch my wording and I watch my judgment. So I don't say that their energy is bad or I don't say that it's not good. I simply just say it's an energy I don't want to be around it. So there's energy associated with that. If I put a label on it and I judge it, then that's definitely something that will cause low vibration in me. And that's not something that I want. So that's tip one. Watch what you say and how you label and judge things. You don't want to necessarily judge. And if you label it, you want to label it with a higher vibrational way of going about it than a lower. So something that is not good is a better way of saying something that's bad.
Yeah.
You get me? So that's one. Two is um be honest with yourself. So when these individuals presented themselves to me in this situation, I was honest with the lady and I was like, I'm sorry, I keep saying that. I'm trying to like reserve as much.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
But
Well, it's a 50-50 shot for us all to guess.
true, true, true. Yeah, very true. But I did say to her, hey, I'm totally comfortable in that situation. If it happens again, I'm there, and everything's going to be good basically. Because if I sat there and allowed the frustration to build in me, I'm not going to be doing myself a service.
Yeah.
And so I have to step back and go, okay, what do I have to learn in these moments? And
Yeah.
that's what I would say to you guys when you are all presented with these moments of intense energies, emotion that you cannot believe are happening, but they are. How can I continue to just not fight it, not resist it, but simply do things that continue to try to raise the vibration? Um, because it's just very helpful when you do it. and it starts with the acknowledgement. But do you mind if I talk about the
No, go
thing?
ahead.
So in addition to all the energies that Brooke was talking about and the different forms and ways that they're hitting us, there are some really incredible things that are happening with all of this emotional um feelings that we're getting hit with, all these turbulence and waves. And that is, our gifts are expanding. We are really, our intuition is growing. And uh I encourage you all to really do some mindfulness activities to help be in these moments, to allow for these opportunities. Well, one, to teach you the lesson that you're meant to learn from them, but also to hear their communication, because so much more communication comes in with the more light that comes here, and your guides are leveraging that to help you even more. So maybe your guides are calling you to, I don't know, they're talking to you in some way, shape, or form. Be present enough to know that, feel it, to trust your intuitive feelings that you're getting, because those your clairsentient ability, your intuition, your clairaudience, and your clairvoyance are all manifesting themselves so much more strongly now.
Yeah, which goes back to the rule one of what we just said. If you hear nothing else, stay open,
Mm-hmm.
and then you mentioned like the mindfulness, and the mindfulness is just going to make you more aware,
Mm-hmm.
and then the awareness is where you're going to start seeing where the universe is trying to talk to you and show you things. So the awareness is where that is going to come into.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and oh, go ahead.
Mm-mm. I don't have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was funny because my mind just went, I went from like thinking, I mean, this week I'm like, oh my gosh, I got 4 hours worth of talk to do. You know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
like all the things that were coming in. I know I'm gonna want to take a nap after this because I feel like everything that's been in my head for the last 3 weeks, I finally got to like dump it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
I know I'm gonna be a little more at peace after this.
Cool.
But another the one last big thing, and this was really cool. So tarot cards, they've never been like my thing. It's not something, I think they're awesome. I think they're cool. I've had some really cool tarot readings. They're not necessarily like my thing, but I feel like animals are my biggest guide, and animals speak to me a lot. So when I was away and came across this deck, it's a medicine, it's medicine cards, and it's in animals. So it's very similar, it's similar to how tarot works. And so I pulled one the other day, 2 nights ago, for the collective. Okay. And so I pull a deer, and I'm like, well, what is this? So, the other big thing when we're talking about, the big thing right now is fear, and that is something that, we just can't tell somebody stop fearing, stop being afraid. It doesn't work like that. It's like the awareness has to come first, and then that starts being shed. But so it was really cool that the deer came up. And I wasn't sure where it was going with this, but it came with a really cool story about standing in the light, and not standing in fear. So do you have time? I'm going to read this really quick.
Sure.
Are you good with that?
Mm-hmm.
So I pulled the deer, like for the collective. One day, Fawn heard Great Spirit calling to her from the top of the sacred mountain. Fawn immediately started up the trail. She didn't know that a horrible demon guarded the Great Spirit's lodge. The demon was trying to keep all beings of creation from connecting with Great Spirit. He wanted all of Great Spirit's creature to feel that Great Spirit didn't want to be disturbed. This would make the demon feel powerful and capable of causing them to fear him. Fawn was not frightened at all. When she came upon the demon, this was curious, as the demon was the archetype of all the ugly monsters that have ever been. The demon breathed fire and smoke and made some disgusting sounds to frighten Fawn. Any normal creature would have fled or died on the spot from fright. Fawn, however, said gently to the demon, "Please let me pass." I'm on the way to see the Great Spirit. Fawn's eyes were filled with love and compassion for this oversized bully of a demon. The demon was astounded by the fawn's lack of fear. No matter how he tried, he could not frighten the fawn because her love had penetrated his hardened, ugly heart. Much to the demon's dismay, his rock hard heart began to melt, and his body shrank to the size of a walnut. Fawn's persistent love and gentleness had caused the meltdown of the demon. Due to this gentleness and caring that the fawn embodied, the pathway is now clear for all of Great Spirit's children to reach the sacred mountain without having to feel the demons of fear blocking their way. So there's a little more after that, but that is the biggest thing right now, is standing in the light. And all these things that we think we're fighting and opposing, love is the key. Like everything, I mean, there we have all these like my truth, your truth. I know this, I know that, I know this. And I can go round and round with that stuff all day. When it comes to it, the only one truth there is love.
Mm-hmm.
The only one master truth is love. And that is what is going to win this. So does that fawn, because it knew it was standing in the light, showed the demon love. That's why I say, when you're facing the darkness, the one thing the darkness doesn't know how to deal with is feeling love. Once you show it love, it's going to melt away. So that's what this light is coming in here to do right now, is to melt everything away. Just some things you're going to put up a fight before they leave. So that's why I say, as many beautiful, wonderful things that are coming up, you're also going to see a little bit of fight being put up before it's all gone. And so in those times, just know that just you simply standing in the light and standing in the love and standing out of fear is going to be what is battling those things. Because that little deer just cleared the path for everybody that's ever going to go that path to see the Great Spirit now, simply because that one little deer loved.
Yeah, that's a great point. And a way that I feel is very helpful in remembering that light, and love are the way, is developing mantras. Find a way to start talking to yourself repeatedly with some kind of mantra. I mean, I say I am light all the time.
Yes.
All the time. And that's a mantra I use. And you can find a different mantra for any type of healing that you're going through, to help you overcome that. So if you feel maybe angry a lot in particular situations, find a mantra that is the direct opposite of that in the positive way that you can continue to say, to help you in those situations. It is an extremely high vibrational way of helping you in those moments just to get through it. It's practicing mindfulness, awareness, and raising the vibration. And there's another thing with what you're saying too, Brooke, in with the fear aspect. There are some people, and with the development of gifts, there are some people who are experiencing extremely high levels of anxiety at this moment. This is one thing I'm going to tell you, and this is a huge tip here. A lot of people, so mediums and people that are getting communication from above or from the spiritual realms, let's say, experience that energy in many different ways. People that get um people that are getting communication that was very, very much tied to this realm. So like if a spirit crosses over, we've already discussed that the soul has connections from the third realm all the way up to 12. If you are getting communication from the third realm primarily, here's pay attention here, because I don't mean to say that, but hear me out here. Third dimensional energy is typically experienced through anxiety. So if you're getting a spirit that's around you that is third dimensional realm tied, a soul that's tied to this realm, then you are quite possibly, and yeah, quite possibly experiencing communication, and you're getting it in the form of anxiety. So people that have a lot of anxiety like that, just be aware that that's certainly an aspect or a situation that could be happening in your life that would require you to start to go within, meditate, be mindful, and see if you're getting communication, and in what form are you getting that communication. Because that is another one that has been coming up a ton lately in that anxiety. So
Yeah, so I've been getting some of that too. And so kind of in the same way that you follow your triggers back, follow your anxiety back, and also when also think about this too, when you're feeling anxious, also think, am I excited? Now, is this energy? So yeah, there is a time where we experience that like anxiety that's telling us, we can't do something or we need to do something or whatever. And sometimes it's just motivation. Sometimes it's just that's energy there to motivate us. But other times it's like before this podcast, it's been weeks that I've had so much information and so much. And I was standing up back before this and my body was literally like convulsing and
mhm,
like my heart like was going to pound out of my chest. And I went, oh my gosh, I'm so nervous. And then I went, oh my gosh, maybe I'm excited. Like
mhm,
I'm finally excited to get some of this out of my head, and I'm excited to kind of share some of this.
yep.
We're in exciting times. It's um. So I just took it as I took the energy as a good. Like I switched it around from thinking, oh, I'm anxious about doing this, I'm nervous, to kind of going, no, well, I'm excited about this, and. So, but yeah, anxiety is another one. Not to just we've gotten such a habit of just going, oh, that's my anxiety. And then going off to, oh, that, no, 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 listen to it. What is it? Why is it there? Follow it back. Is it trying to motivate you? Is it trying to show you something? It's trying to show you something also. So that's another trigger to check into is your anxiety.
And you got that right after you got communication. So,
Yes.
and so that's huge. And okay, so I know multiple mediums that are very tied to the spiritual realms and get communication, and will get extremely high levels of anxiety getting on a plane, driving a car, going on a boat. And they don't and originally they did not understand why until they started to open themselves up and understood after they started to open up to the spiritual communication that holy moly, I'm just getting communication at those moments. They're not actually scared to go on the boat. They're just experienced the level of communication, and that's how it's manifesting themselves in them.
Yeah.
But like Brooke said, if you go within and you start to kind of like dial it back and see, okay, what could be going on? Meditation is extremely helpful in these situations with going in. You might actually start to discover I'm getting more communication than I thought possible. It's just manifesting itself that way. It's all dependent on the level or the realm at which you are getting the most. That's what I'm starting to notice with all these different mediums. And because mediums, I say all the time, are like doctors. We specialize in in certain things, and those that specialize in communication might not even know it in this realm get it get very high anxiety. So
Hmm.
understand that,
Yep.
be aware of it, go within.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I know I'm going to think of like 100 more things that I thought I was going to say and wanted to say. Think I'm pretty clear. I think
Um,
I think I'm good. I know
cool.
I've emptied my head, and like I said, all the energy is just settled down. So I guess maybe hopefully just the only few things that had to come out came out, and just like I said, we just hang in there, guys.
Yeah.
And like I said, when you start seeing things manifesting in the physical, just do your best. Like I said, I just look at this whole thing like it's just like, oh, simulation time. Like,
Yeah.
we're
Well,
all just actors, we're all just playing out this story, we're all just, and that helps me kind of like do this and observe more, like watch the show,
mhm,
try not to get too involved. I mean, look, there's there's shit going down. I live in a sleepy little town that nothing happens. And I mean, just last week we had three, four major events that I was like, welcome to Compton. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
things that don't happen. I don't know if you guys were you're living or experiencing these things too, or if this was just, but it's kind of on. It's on,
Well,
right now.
and tied to that, please understand, guys, ladies, gentlemen, that we are in a transitional lifetime period for this realm. This isn't, we are specifically here to deal with these tough times because our souls have chose to be, for the direct purpose of, one, helping a lot of the younger souls uh and mature souls, see the light in people like all of us light workers who are here to help. So we have signed up for a job, and we are here for an extremely important purpose, and that is to be light and love in these trying times. So think of yourself as like a warrior of light, experiencing these rough times to help all those souls that need it at this moment in time. And that job is should not, uh I don't want to say not taken lightly, but just understand that we're meant to experience the turbulence. And I used a plane analogy lately, in that sometimes when you're on a plane, you'll hear the pilot come on and say, okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to ascend a couple thousand feet to bypass some of this turbulence. But then there are other times when you cannot bypass the turbulence, because no matter how far you ascend up, it's just not happening. You're going to hit it. Well, this life is like that. All lives are like that. You're always going to have turbulence, but it's how we start to deal with it. It's how we start to talk to ourselves. It's how we acknowledge it. We're aware of it. That is going to help you so much more in your life to continue to be and find positivity. And I will say this and cannot stress it enough. And Brooke brought this up. In the past, I wasn't anything perfect, and I'm not now, never will be. But what you can do is cultivate happiness within yourself. You can grow it like a bush in your yard. You or a garden that you have. You can grow happiness in yourself, but you have to put in the work. So go do that, and and try to find peace and lessons in everything that happens, and those are just ways that will help you begin to develop that happiness.
Yep. Yep. Like I said, the more open you are, the more that is just going to come, you
Hmm.
know.
You
Just
ready?
try to be open. Yeah, I'm
Oh,
ready.
sorry. Okay,
No, I'm ready.
cool. Thank you. My children, grateful we are. Beautiful opportunities to be presented to you all, and we have indicated prior to this podcast that there will be energies, revelations, if you will, that are being presented to all of humanity. These revelations are transpiring at this very moment in time. Some of the revelations are within you internally, revealing denser sides of who you are that are in need or require healing. And this is part of the revelation that has been spoken prior. Archangel Michael speaking. We are here, though, to assist, and we do ask you all to call upon us in every given moment, any given moment, to communicate with us, to have us help you overcome the density that you feel at different moments in time. It helps us acquire a presence in your life and assist in different situations that arise as you proceed in this lifetime. And for that, we are grateful. But it is imperative that you ask for assistance and call upon us when you need it, and in moments of time when it is not necessarily needed. We tell you now, say to you now, there is never an opportunity that we would never be present in your life. We are always ready and willing to be present and work with your energy to help raise your vibration. And these requests that you ask of us are never small in quantity or quality. And for that, we are grateful. There is never a moment where you are not called or not asked to ask for us. We ask you to ask for us at all moments in time to be present in your life at every moment in time, to allow for us to begin to work diligently with your energy. And this is very helpful to the soul in which occupies your physical body. And for that, we are grateful. But the aspects of healing in this realm that are transpiring at this moment are intense, yes, but there is a peace coming. So please understand this. However, these moments of revelation that are being revealed both internally and externally through the manifestations of others and their actions are very important to understand why situations are occurring. And that when you are speaking your truth and being your, yes, Brooke, authentic self, there is great truth here. There is great benefit to this. And this is an aspect of the healing that we would like to communicate with you now. The authentic self is ideally the soul stepping forward through the physical to be that authentic truth. The truth is always light and love, yes, but there are manifestations that are sometimes lower in vibration. We ask you now not to judge yourself for these moments, but to be very peaceful in them. For this is an understanding that you can begin to adhere to at this moment, that these are moments of healing, that healing must have transpired for a reason, and that was due to the fact that there was much density that was felt at the moment. But the lesson has been learned, and now you may move on with a new mindset, with a change of course, if you will. But the change requires action and desire. Without these two, the change does not occur. There must be movement in the direction of change for it to occur. And the mindset and desire of change must be present in order for it to occur, to occur. For that will bring about the movement that is needed. And these two aspects are absolutely necessary for the change to occur: movement and mindset, desire. And for that, we say thank you. We ask you all now to go in a peaceful state of mind, acknowledging that you would like to change for a higher vibrational way, to be high vibrational in your life, and then to call upon the higher aspects of us to assist with that and begin to listen to the intuition, the intuitive mind that we are present in, allowing for the guidance system that we are communicating with you through to be so prominent in your life. And this will be a great step in the direction of light and love, and for the light force within you to be more prominent, for your soul will begin to communicate through you more. And through the soul communication is more heavenly communication, which we will step forward, and that is within the intuitive mind. Please trust in your intuition and the reoccurring messages that you get of the light and love. For we are attempting to assist you all, especially those that are directly asking for assistance. We are stepping forward to help in these situations to rise above. But the others that are not calling for assistance directly from the physical are getting assistance on a soul's level. And that is very important. But we ask you all now to listen to the soul and the intuitive mind and to ask for that assistance from above and allow us to be present at those moments that are in most need, but all are possible. And for that, we are grateful. Enoch speaking, my children, beautiful it is to be in your presence once again. And we tell you now, the darkness, the clouds in which you have currently seen over this realm for some time now are not necessarily wiping away. There is much more work to be done, but the work starts and ends only within you. There is never another that we would ever ask upon you to change. We ask you to change. And we do bring upon a greater understanding at this moment in time. For if you are looking for a behavior in another to change, we ask you to be the change in which you are looking for. And this will affect change on a soul level and then manifest itself in some point in time, maybe in another lifetime, in that individual. But we ask you not to be tied to the outcome on the physical realm, for the soul will acquire the communication and lesson that is meant to be learned. And should it so be capable of changing in this lifetime, it shall. But shall it not, is also a possibility, but we ask you to be patient. And the alignment of energies into energies that are similar is very helpful to your positive nature. For should you so continue to resonate with people of low vibration, this is not helpful to your self raising rising in vibration. We ask you to choose and choose wisely who you would like to be around, and this will affect your energy greatly. Lower vibration will only cause more, and likewise is true with the light. Light and love will always accumulate more light and love as a result of the choices that are made that are in a high vibrational attunement. And attunement, my children, is very, very real and possible. You must attune to the energy, but the attunement is not necessarily needed from another person that says or attunes you to that energy. It is something that you do with your intention, which is the desire and the movement in which you begin to act in that direction, which is what Archangel Michael has so graciously spoken to you all about. The movement in those directions is so vitally important, and the desire to do so will bring about the idea and movements to move in that light filled direction. But higher vibration and the choices that we make are where everything must go, and eventually will. But the attention attraction of energy is very real, and we do ask you to be very cognizant of that as you proceed along this realm. Be as high vibrational as possible and resonate more with the light and love that is so capable in this realm. You are all surrounded by beautifulness, should you so choose to see it, but it is a choice, as we have indicated, and we do ask that you choose to see the beauty that is in all. And every situation, there is beauty and light. It is something that must be chosen to see and thus moved upon. Again, desire and action go hand in hand, and we do ask for that in addition to calling upon us when you need or desire. We are grateful for these messages and your attentiveness to them. We ask you now to go in great peace and understanding. Make the desire and the choice to be high vibrational and then move in that direction in all aspects of life. For you will find it should you so choose to desire it and then move in that direction. And should you so choose to reside in the lower density, we ask you to do your best to be of light in those situations, for it will be helpful. Although difficult to overcome them, it will be helpful to all those souls that are involved, should you so choose to be the light to them. And for that, we are grateful. Go in peace and light, my children. We are here. Call us at any time. Paravati speaking, the Ascendant Master. Yes, Christopher. I am present with you all, my children. We ask you now for your steadiness, a steady hand in your movements, not a okay, so I'm actually seeing like a wave. It's almost like she's going with like that with her hand where she's like moving it like a wave. We ask you for a steadiness when when the choices, the desire, and the movements are being made. We ask you to be as steady as possible, to understand that there are moments in time that are going to be inevitably presented to you that are lower in vibration, but it is your choice to remain high vibrational that will affect that situation greatly. And we ask you to understand this when you are Paravati speaking, when you are dealing with situations, handling situations that could be resembling lower vibration, we ask you to keep the steady hand of motion. Understand that in this moment in time, you are presented with a choice to reside more with the low vibration or to choose to rise yourself higher in vibration, to be the light and love in that moment in time. And light and love comes from the choices that you make, to be the love and the idea and notion of positivity. For we ask you to be truthful in these situations, to be the light, to be wise in your wisdom received, knowing that when you are your authentic self, as Brooke has indicated, you will find great truths that are presented in these opportunities, and the truths will create growth within all those that are present in those moments, in those situations. But in addition to those present in this situation, it offers healing in this realm, for you are breaking a cycle of density at those moments in time. And it is very important as you proceed along this realm to break those cycles. You will find those cycles continue to break as you continue to be authentic and true, true to the light, true to the love, and true to who you are as a beautiful light being and an aspect of the creator. And you all are, regardless of the vibration in which you typically gravitate towards. You are an aspect of the light of the creator, and for that we are so grateful to our blessed creator. Thank you. Choose wisely, my children, and be very patient with yourself. Each situation provides you with a new opportunity to rise above it, and for that we are grateful. Should you so falter in one situation, this is understood and understanding we are that a new situation will present itself, and every situation is presenting itself until it is mastered, if you will.
Mhm.
For when every situation presents itself, it is an aspect of you that is requiring a little bit more diligence, work, and rising in vibration, and for that we are grateful. Go in great peace, my children. Mother Mary speaking. We are present with you all at this moment in time. And we do ask for great care of self, great care of self as you proceed. And the communication that is offered to oneself is vital to the rising above these situations. The situation cannot be the moment in which you begin the process of rising above. We ask you to be ready and have already begun the work of rising in situations prior to a situation being presented. For your mind and body will begin to respond to situations as a direct result of the training in which you have brought forth to it. And this is a vital aspect we bring to you now. You train your mind for the situation when it arises, not train your mind during the situation, for this is much more difficult to overcome. Should you so go through emotion in your mind before it occurs, you will find greater peace when that situation occurs because your mind and body will already be trained for it. Like the marathon runner, they do not run a marathon without training themselves, without being very present in these moments that when work is diligent. It is a direct result of their diligence, work ethic, and desire, movement, we say, that prepares them for the moment that the time arises that it is needed. And for this, we say to you now, begin the aspect of training your mind before the situation occurs. And we do understand not all situations will be trained for, but what we ask you to do is train yourself in being light and love, to be respectful, to be general in your training in the sense that you are desiring to be light and loving to all. And when this is the intention and the movement is brought forth to it, you will begin to see that different situations are intuitively guided and you instinctively move in a way that is higher in vibration. That is an aspect of the training that you have brought forth prior to the situation occurring. And for that, we say thank you. Go in peace and love, my children. We are present always and ask for you to call upon us, Mother Mary speaking. We are always ready and willing to work on behalf of all your souls so that you may all fill yourselves with light in this realm and bring upon more spiritual beings from above so that we may assist all of humanity as you all grow in this transitional period. And transitional period is one that is true. There is a transition that is occurring in this realm at this moment in time, and you have all graciously, and we are grateful for it, agreed upon being a member of this transition at this time as all souls are growing, and for that we say thank you. Great peace and light to you all. Go in peace. Thank you. Okay, thanks.
Nice. I had like something to go along with everything, but
I gotcha.
some of it's fleeting. But like I said, I think there's a couple of the channelings that I started jotting notes down, and like maybe even like next time we can do like a breakdown,
Mm-hmm.
of but yeah, I had a lot of for instances, and the biggest one I do want to leave this with is you can't verbally wake another person up. You can't verbally like make another person see things the way that you see them. And that is causing a lot of suffering right now for, for the, I did it. I did it to my family. I'm like, what? I mean, it's no different than like Betty Lou from the Church of Christ coming to you and going, are you saved? Are you saved? Like, it's no different. Like when you're saying the things that you think you're going to wake somebody else up with, or you think it is no different than that. The other person is feeling no different than how you feel when that person's coming up to you going, are you saved?
Mm-hmm.
There's no difference. It's about you right now. Like it is solely in you. You can't go tell somebody else to do this, be this, don't do that, don't, it's what you're doing right now. And it's going to be reflected from that. You can't give anybody else the information. They'll get it. I promise you. At some point, way, shape, or form, one way or another, like everybody is going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
But there is nothing there's no amount of videos you can send to somebody, no amount of like beating them down you can do. None of that will help. You are only causing not only suffering in them, you're causing suffering in yourself and in your growth when you're doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's hard because when we get information, we want to share it with somebody, and I was lucky enough to have almost like a partner in this awakening, that her and I could share all these things with. And maybe you don't have that, and it does suck, but it's like, if you look and there are so many sites of people who will be maybe like-minded at the time, but you can't just go around going, hey, you've got to be doing this right now, you've got to be doing that, you've got to wake up. It doesn't work like that. It's all in you. You just have to do it for yourself and to yourself, and it will be reflected out because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the only other one thing that had been in my head that I wanted to say that they ended up saying in the, it was said in the channeling.
Nice.
Like, yeah, forgot about that one. But yeah, well, good stuff. Good stuff. All right, guys.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
See you guys later. Appreciate you all.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.